invested just 3 million in preparing for their first season in the top flight since the late 70s. We haven't yet got confirmation of the teams. There is an administration fault in the stadium. We hope to put that right in a moment. But as we wait for those to come through, as you can see, Paul Ince is certainly playing. He's the centre of attention. He's settled promisingly into his midfield role alongside Italian star Nicola Berti. They're at the heart of a side which includes Zanetti and Roberto Carlos as the two other foreigners, and with Gats in tandem with, we think, Del Vecchio up front, supported by the impish figure of Carboni. As I say, these aren't confirmed team positions at the moment. Fresi, a very highly rated young defender from Salernitana, he's in as the new sweeper, with Festa and Massimo Paganin expected to be the two markers. No place for the former Italian international captain, Bogomi. Well, all three of Vicenza's foreign acquisitions are in their starting lineup. The two Uruguayans, Otero and Mendes, along with Swedish defender Joachim Björklund. Maini from Roma looks a very useful signing in midfield for them. The rest of the side comprises mainly the players that earned promotion last season, including Roberto Morgita, whose goals provided the catalyst for Vicenza's surge up the table. So Inter already underway and attacking the goal to our right. Roberto Carlos, the Brazilian, operating on the left side. That was his pass through. Stick meant by Festa. Morgita, who's very, very quick. So the Inter goal under pressure straight away. And at the end, safely back to the goalkeeper, but only just. So a very spirited opening here by Vicenza. Certainly is a fascinating contest to kick off the new season. Vicenza, who came up in some style, and an early test there for Gianluca Pagliuca, Italy's #1 goalkeeper. Inter revamped and hoping to make a real impression, with Ince the driving force in midfield against newly promoted Vicenza, who with their two South American imports are planning to plot a successful return to senior company. This is Dinazio, having his first taste of Serie A action, as are many of these players in the Vicenza team. They finished third in Serie B last season, after a real flourish towards the end of the campaign. Ince, who's been impressive pre-season. Roberto Carlos, who's very, very quick. Did so well for the Brazilians, of course, in the Umbro Cup, and then again, too, in the Copa America. Brazil losing in the final to Uruguay. Ince showing his tenacity. The Italians have been impressed by his aggression in the pre-season friendlies. Don Howe alongside me here. What, as an England coach, are you looking for in Ince today?
I suppose, first of all, for him to settle into the Inter side. I'd like to reserve my judgment on how well he's going to do in Italian football. I'm like everyone else. I'd like him to get half a dozen games under his belt and then judge him. Paul Ince is a spirited competitor, Peter, and that's what you've got to let him do. You've got to let him work. You've got to let him go. If you tie him down to an anchor role, it doesn't suit his personality. He likes to get around and close players down, as he did there, get his foot in, make tackles. You know, that's what he's good at. You know, if you tie him down to an anchor role, then I don't think it really suits his type of game.
So free kick then to Vicenza. And beyond Morgita, who was lurking in the middle there. Pagliuca, 14 clean sheets for Inter last season. He hasn't missed a game now in the last two campaigns. And of course before that with Sampdoria for some 8 seasons.
It started off, Peter, as a hell of a, I mean, it's more like an English game, 100 miles an hour. Vicenza has taken the game to Inter Milan, which is cheeky in itself. So it looks as though their coach has said, hey, come on, let's get in amongst it. We're in Serie A now, let's show what we can do.
We have finally had now, incidentally, confirmation of the lineups. It's the one change from the team we expected, named by Inter. That's Delano, who's come in for Carbone, the young man signed from Napoli. Carbone, Delano preferred to him in midfield. Mendes with the cross. Vicenza were very strong defensively last season, and certainly at home they, in fact, were the only team in the top 2 flights not to lose a game. But away, well, they didn't get as good results. They certainly started this match in brisk fashion. Ignazio with a throw. Bianchi, the coach of Inter, who we saw there a moment or so ago, under some pressure. The president, Moratti, says he will review Inter's form at the end of September, so that isn't pressure, I don't know what is.
Well, that's amazing, really. I mean,
even by their standards.
I don't know how they get away with it. I mean, the coach is working hard, trying to get the team together. I'll come back in a minute, Peter. Looks dangerous.
It's not exactly a vote of confidence in the coach, is it? Here's Beatti, who is captain this afternoon in the absence of Bergamy, left on the bench.
The thing about a statement like that, it not only affects obviously the coach and himself, but I think it affects the club and also the feeling of the club. Are we going to have this coach for the rest of the season or not? I think the players don't know where they stand. I can't understand those type of statements from presidents of football clubs.
Ignazio. So much expected of Inter. 6th place for them, not good enough, even though they did make it into Europe. And on the very last day, indeed the very last instant of the game against Padova, when Del Vecchio scored the winner. Gantz in there threatening. Ezio Gantz from Atalanta, playing up front then with Del Vecchio.
The thing about those two front players, it looks as though they're playing up there flat. Well, last year it was because of Bergkamp, it was always one up and one pull deep.
Roberto Carlos taking the corner. That was Zanetti who was tumbled there. Wearing 4, the Argentine from Banfield. Delano doing well. He's had so many problems with injuries in the past. Now Del Vecchio. A player who began to fill his potential last season, Del Vecchio. And for the moment, first choice up front, alongside Gantz. There's Gantz now whipping at his shot lows. A dangerous player. Proven goal scorer. Would have come to Atalanta before, but for injury.
And the Vicenza goalkeeper that he's doing is not, and rightly so. I mean, they've been slack down that right side. I mean, that's 2 crosses in within a minute. And obviously goalkeepers don't like those type of balls coming across the box.
Just hearing the first goal of the season, scored by Proti of Bari at home to Napoli. He wins 1,000 bottles of wine for that. Might not play in the next match. Ignazio making good progress down this left side. He's taking the opportunity to surge forward.
Peter, it's a little bit frantic. I mean, that challenge, I mean, nowhere near the ball.
Ignazio taking a free kick. He said about that, the better. They've come up in optimistic fashion, Vicenza, a club that's never won any major honour. Though they had great days back in the late 70s when they were runners-up to Juventus. Paolo Rossi was in the side then. Paganin, one of the markers at the back for Inter. Indeed, he's the man really that's keeping Bergamy out of the side. Bergamy, who's been such a fixture for Inter down the years. Zanetti, who's got good pace. Done well here, Still Zanetti picking them all off. Fouled in the end by Lopez.
Really, he was fouled a couple of times before in the end he did get clean, but completely knocked over.
What did you make of him in the Copa America, Don?
Yeah, he's a very impressive boy, and this is what he's good at. He's good at kind of playing that, I suppose you would call him wing back these days, getting forward from a kind of a defensive position.
Delano curling over the free kick, but not too far, then hit by Roberto Carlos. And straight at Luca Mondini, who last season was Paliuca's understudy in the Inter goal. On the subs bench for all of last season. Probably made his way straight to the bench when he came out today. Making his Serie A debut in the San Siro, but not for Inter, for Vicenza. Vicenza 500-1 shots for the title. Inter 8-1, fourth favourites behind Milan, who I gather have scored a goal already this afternoon now, away to Padova. George Weah has given them the lead, one of their new signings. Paliuca just about holding on, but he came out for it confidently enough. And launching a swift attack here. Oh, I think the flag's up for offside. Vecchio and Gats, two players caught out. Del Vecchio, who scored that crucial goal against Padova, that took Inter into Europe, and of course meant that Padova had to go into the playoff, which they did survive. Gats just losing out though to Lopez. Dinazio laid off then by Morgita. This is Maini, the new man from Roma. 10 minutes gone. Berti to Roberto Carlos. Such an exciting player. Now, what has the referee given here? Pasquale Rodamonti from Teramo near Pescara is the man in charge this afternoon, and is ruled in favour of Inter. Delano will take this corner. Well, the keeper didn't make it. Helped out by one of his defenders then. Back off Roberto Carlos, then Berti. Delano. Very much involved early on. Delano's a good strike too. Although into the middle of Mondini.
Well, both teams are going at each other. I mean, normally when you see Italian football, you see a lot of possession from the back and holding on to the ball. Not in this game. Both sides are very direct. And they're keeping both goalkeepers occupied as well, which is obviously it's good for entertainment.
Well, it's certainly been a promising start by Francesco Delano, who made only a couple of starts last season, a few more as a substitute, but mainly on the sidelines. Roberto Carlos. No doubt, Don, that he caught the eye during the Umbro Cup.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He was given this kind of obviously he played left back, but he had the freedom to go forward as often as he wanted to, and he exploited it. And he's got a terrific left foot. I mean, if there's any free kicks around the edge of the Vicenza box, you can bet Carlos will be coming up to take it.
Dinazio being invited to come forward. Inter had one of the best defences in Serie A last season. Their real problem was they didn't score enough goals. I think they could put that right this season with the arrival of Gats. And young Carbone, who today, though, has to settle for a role as a substitute. Dinazio's long throw in. And again, Vicenza's shooting is somewhat wayward.
But those second balls, as we saw in that Umbro Cup in the summer, that you know, I mean, good midfield players can cash in on those second balls where the ball goes into the 6-yard box, gets headed out by a defender round about the D, and a midfield player comes and I mean, Graham Lasso scored that wonderful goal against Brazil. You know, that's how the goals come these days.
Paganin to Delano. Now Ince does well too, finds Nicola Berti. Plenty of power, not enough accuracy though from the Inter captain.
That's what I say about Paul Ince. You've got to give him this box-to-box role, this busy role in midfield, where he can get forward and get in amongst the opposition. Perhaps have a shot at goal himself. And he'll do what he did there. I mean, he's got enough vision to pick people out and change the play.
Lopez, the defender, and a slip by Di Nazio. I think he has surprised the Italians a bit, Ince, with his ability. Certainly in those pre-season games. They thought he was just a straight up and downer. They've been a bit taken aback. A bit more to his game than that. Del Vecchio with the header. But nothing to trouble Mondini.
They don't look too clever on defending it, things like that, Vicenza. I mean, anything that's crossed into the box, and that was a long throw. They don't look as though they've got the heading ability or the power to get the ball away.
They have Bjorklund, the Swede, remember, in the centre of that back line alongside Lopez. There again, the competitive edge of Paul Ince, which hasn't gone down too well with the referee, or indeed those Vicenza players.
Yeah, and he's gone firm and hard for the ball, I've got to say that there, and he stuck his head in, and he's headed it. And he's having a go back at the referee. He can't do that in Italy. Peter, he's got to get out of that habit.
Ignazio's header. Away by Paganin. Zanetti. A touch then by Maini. But Inter can build now through Paul Ince. A bad tackle. And that's a good reaction from Ince. Doesn't hang around to argue it.
Put your spot on there. That's the type of thing he's got to do, where if someone brings him down, he picks himself up and gets on with it. No demonstrations to the referee or to anyone. Pick yourself up and get on with the game.
Yellow card for Lombardini. Borgita. Delano taking over from Festa. Seeking out Del Vecchio, who pulled away to this right side. I think we'll see that a lot. Del Vecchio drifting out right, and Gantz to the left. Zanetti. His perseverance has forced a corner. Again, they looked a little uncertain at the back.
This young lad in the four shirt, Zanetti, he's made a terrific start to this game. He's a threat every time he goes down that right wing.
Roberto Carlos, £4.5 million signing from Palmeiras in Brazil. And Vicenza failing to launch the counter-attack. As Inter look to fix some more pressure now with Alessio Gantz. Almost sneaked in then. Is it a corner? No, the referee has given a goal kick. Or has he? No. It is a corner.
Here again, they're very uncertain, the Vicenza defence. The goalkeeper seemed to get hold of it and then drop it back into the Inter Milan player.
Corner cleared. Taken by Delano. Here's Delano once more. Another dangerous ball into the box, but not dangerous enough. Berti. The man the president feels is the symbol of Inter's style, with his vibrant approach. Sound defending by Pagani. Roberto Carlos with Ince. He's so looking forward to this game today, Paul Ince. He couldn't wait to get out there. Good run by Gats. Now, what support does he have? "14 goals last season and only 20 appearances for Atalanta." Gats, he was injured really till around January time. So it was, as I mentioned earlier, a belated arrival at Inter. He should have come to the club much sooner. One of the top strikers in the Italian game. Indeed, a few seasons back, he was in Arrigo Sacchi's thinking in terms of the national side. Maybe he will be again. Berti. Foul by Del Vecchio, who's undertaking his national service at the moment. That's why he's had his haircut. Berti. Swapping passes with Gats. Now Delano. Instant support as well. Ahead of Berti, but he's gone the other way. Roberto Carlos. This is Zanetti. Options in the middle. Gats and Del Vecchio. Now Ince. Back to the drawing board with that one, Paul.
Yeah, well, you could see the idea. He got right underneath the ball and smacked it high, wide and handsome. But that's what he's good at. I mean, the ball gets fed into the box, and anything that comes out the box, he's quick to get onto it, or he's quick to challenge it if it drops down to one of their players. That's the best part of Paul's game.
Lopez. His first season in Serie A, after 10 years as a professional, mainly in the lower divisions. Mojito, who poses the main threat up front for Vicenza. 19 goals last season. Maini taking the free kick. Icalo. Wasn't a bad ball in either.
Yeah, the marking was very poor in the box. All right, the cross is coming from a deeper angle. Then you'd like him to get closer, obviously, to the box, or even to the byline. The marking here in the box, he's got between two defenders, and there's two there with a chance to get a header on goal.
Maini was the player involved. £500,000 he cost from Roma. Couldn't get into their team on any kind of a regular basis. But he'll certainly hope to at Vicenza. It may well prove a valuable signing too, I think. Free kick taken by Fresi. New sweeper in the team from Salernitana. Being heralded as perhaps the next Baresi, I'm told. Zanetti. Otero, I haven't seen too much of him so far, but he's a very lively player, as we saw in the Copa America. The Uruguayan. Ince. Now Roberto Carlos. Just too long for Del Vecchio. Here's Delano. Ince. Determination, they're getting the better of Maini. And Berti on for Gats. It was certainly an opportunity for Maurizio Gats. He's very sharp around the penalty box. Well set up here by Berti and initially Paul Ince.
They've got a good understanding straight away, Berti and Paul Ince, especially on changing the play. That's a lovely little ball into the box by Berti, up the side of the box, giving the forward chance to get off turn, where he has got a chance of getting his shot in if he wants to do that.
Berti, as much as anyone, has been praising Paul Ince during those pre-season games. In particular, the aggression that he's added to the dressing room, as he puts it. Roberto Carlos. Can't link up there with Berti. Vicenza on the break now. Lombardini. We've got 5 up in this attack now. Mendes away down that right side. They're going to play free here if they can find him. Lombardini couldn't keep his shot down though, but they had him free, and also Dinazio as well, so the marking was not too tight then by Inter.
Paliuca was doing his nut, and on this back post here, I mean, they're getting numbers in the box, Vincenzo, and they're not picking up. I mean, they're Inter Milan. I mean, you keep doing that. I mean, we saw one cross come over where they got a header in. There they're queuing up on the back post.
So problems for Bianchi's team. Vicenza, who spent 10 of the last 14 years in the 3rd division. Favourites to go straight back down to Serie B. But they clearly have other intentions. Foul by Maini on Zanetti, who Inter are hoping will give some balance to their approach play. Paganin with the free kick. But it's gone. And Vicenza pouring forward again. In the end, Paganin has recovered in time. Now Roberto Carlos. As I'm sure you've noticed, the players in Italy have squad numbers this season, names on the back as well. Very much in the English mode. Zanetti. Fraser. Here's Itz. Delano. Roberto Carlos. Crazy. Roberto Carlos. Now Ince with a little bit of room to manoeuvre. Easy with a shot that's charged down. And then a foul by Berti. Inter seeking their 14th Scudetto this season. They've had only one in the last 15 campaigns now. And of course back in '89 under Trapattoni, who this season is back in Italian football coaching Cagliari. Lopez. This is Otero. Another man who caught your eye in the Copa America, Don.
Very much so. I mean, in the end, I mean, he was all right. He was playing for the home country, Uruguay. But I was impressed with him all the time. I mean, he played up front with Francescoli, and his work rate was tremendous. He never stops running for the side.
Uruguay's top scorer, 3 goals in the competition. Good anticipation by Fresi. Lombardini. Di Carlo with the cross, with which Berti failed to connect.
They don't hesitate to get that ball in the box, Vicenza. I mean, they get forward and really, as soon as they're into the Inter off, they're thinking about, can we get the ball in the box? Can we get players in the box? And they are a threat at the moment.
Berti just showing too much of that one to Lopez. Del Vecchio. Now has he got the pace here to get away from Bjorklund? Still Del Vecchio. It took 2 of them to deal with him in the end. Well, a yellow card for him for taking his protest too far.
Yeah, I think obviously Del Vecchio thinks he got fouled on this run-in. But Bjorklund, the Swedish lad, he's a very steady player. You know, he's not going to make silly rash tackles in the box, in and around the box.
So much experience, of course, Bjorklund, the man who helped shepherd Vecchio out there. Bjorklund from Gothenburg, played in the Champions League last season, and of course for Sweden in the World Cup finals.
I would say this for Del Vecchio, he's got to keep doing that. I mean, the game always needs forwards who can run at defenders and run past them, take them on. You know, players like that will break any system down. You don't know how good you are at defending. If in the attack of the opposition they've got someone who can run at defenders and go past defenders, it'll break any kind of defending or defensive system down.
Crazy. On by Ince, and his father is Di Carlo. Now Zanetti. He's done well, still Zanetti. Couldn't quite combine there with Gats.
He did very well, he had a bit of luck, he had a bit of a rebound there, but he got himself into a great crossing position.
The chance to breathe again. Look there, as if his persistence had paid off Zanetti.
He's getting himself in the game, Zanetti, Peter, but he's a little bit head down when he picks up the ball. And I don't know whether he's a good crosser of the ball as well, but he is getting a lot of the ball.
Still with plenty of time to learn. He's only 22 years old, Zanetti. This meantime is Del Vecchio. No doubt about his talent. Doesn't really score enough goals. Looking to stretch Bjorklund here. He's stuck with him, the Swedish defender.
But that's what Del Vecchio's got to keep doing. I mean, he's a threat all the time. And in the end, whether we think it's a foul or not, he's checked inside Bjorklund, and the referee thinks it's a foul. You pick up a lot of foul around the opponent's box, you're going to get one of those in the net.
But now Inter will hope to profit from this set piece. To be taken by Delano. Vesta has come up from the back, wearing 13 there. Beati and Vecchio also in the middle. I think the keeper may just have got his hand to that. Yes, it's another corner. Under fierce examination then Luca Mondini.
He looks a little bit vulnerable, Mondini, on the crosses.
And he's at full stretch then. Here's Roberto Carlos. Goalkeeper is still half owned by Inter. Zanetti. Delano wants it played out wide. He's done so well. Now needs a good cross here. Delano. A good striker of a ball. Can't get his shot in, but he was fouled. Some of their defending is a bit desperate at times. Vicenza. But he wanted a bit too much time, Delano. Foul by Mendes, the other Uruguayan.
And what you can't do, Pete, you can't make rash challenges like that. You can't stick your leg out. You've got to make certain you get your foot on the ball.
Delano is there, and Ince and Roberto Carlos. I saw what he could do from this kind of range in the Umbro Cup. Watch out for him, number 6 behind Paul Ince. Mondini cat-like on his line. Here is Roberto Carlos. That was travelling at some pace then before the deflection.
Yeah, well, obviously he gave it a hell of a smack, but the wall did its job.
He's only 5'6", Roberto Carlos. Very fast. Into throw. Beginning now to assert their authority. Roberto Carlos looking for the long one here towards Del Vecchio and Gats. And Berti who'd gone forward. Up goes Ince. Otero with the challenge on Fresi. There's Festa. Ignazio eventually getting it away. Carlo. Ignazio, the foot was high from Zanetti. They looked quite sharp pre-season. Vicenza had some useful results, including wins over Fiorentina and Bari. abroad so far this afternoon. Not afraid to get players into the box. And so far to no avail. Lombardini, who's lost his boot. Del Vecchio now. And off Dinazio for him to throw. Del Vecchio with Zanetti. Delano who arrived.
It's a firm cross and he's going in there fairly crisply. As long as he keeps that header down, he's got a chance of scoring. He's a long way out. I mean, he's kind of just the other side of the penalty spot, which is 12 yards or so. But because there's pace on the cross, all he's got to really do is make sure he keeps it down and get it on the target. He keeps popping up all over the place, Delano. It seems as though he's got a lot of freedom, left or right, anywhere he wants to go.
Now Inter are on the defensive, and it was Otero. He really sneaked in there. Crisp run by the Uruguayan.
He'll keep going, Peter, don't you worry. He'll be back next time, and he will be a threat, and he will outpace defenders.
He's preferred in the Copa America to Ruben Sosa. Vecchio with the shot. Sosa, of course, who's now left Inter. Into German football with Borussia Dortmund. Bergkamp has gone, and York, Orlando, Conte, Antonio Paganini and Villa, who was the sweeper last season. They've all departed. Zanetti. It's good skill. Gats just trying to sweep it on then towards Del Vecchio. No sympathy from the referee. Clearly it's going to take time for the players to gel together. The new faces in the Inter side. They also have another Argentine, Rambert, who's having to sit this one out because of the foreigners rule.
You're right, Peter. It does take time to knit a new side together. But I've got to say this about Inter. They are going at it. I mean, they're going forward in fact, both sides are both going forward all the time. I mean, there's no messing about with any kind of possession play at the back. As soon as they get it like that, it's going forward.
It's with the through pass.
Now at times it's off target, and it looks as though they've given the ball away. But if it's on target, then that player's in.
Lombardini signing his third season with Vicenza. Zanetti. That roar you've just heard, incidentally, is to denote the fact that Padova have equalised at home to Milan. Amoruso. Padova 1, Milan 1. George Weah having given Milan an early lead. Juventus, the champions, at home to Cremonese today. Parma away to Atalanta. Juventus 1-1, I'm told. 1-0, sorry. Jugovic, the new man from Sampdoria, has scored for Juventus. Roberto Carlos. Paganini. Zanetti. Now Delano. Done well there to find Roberto Carlos. Del Vecchio always struggling to reach the cross. Vegeta. And they've got themselves into difficulties again. Looking to catch it on the break with the pace of Otero and the skill of Morgita up front. Vicenza. Maini. Otero ahead of him. Good anticipation though by Fraser. He's been impressive so far. But under 17, Salvatore Fresi, it's his Serie A debut. Gats on by Delano for Berti. He's overhit the pass in search of Del Vecchio. And the crowd, the home fans, already showing their impatience. Expectations so high again this season. Of course, 2 terms ago, they nearly went down Inter. They only finished 1 place above the relegation zone. But last season, they eventually turned the corner after the arrival of new president Moratti, securing that UEFA Cup place on the last day.
Peter, Italian crowds, they always boo-poo passing. If someone gets his pass offline or too far or not accurate, straight away they're onto him. I mean, I just think the crowds think, well, look, you're a professional player, you do all this work, you get all this money. If you can't pass a ball, what the hell's going on? So they have a go at them.
Moratti, incidentally, the president has said that Bianchi is at risk, the coach, his job, but none more so, or no more so rather, than Capello or Scala. Mr. Bianchi himself, he says it's impossible to judge my team at the moment. There are too many new faces. You may say I'm incompetent, but that's the reality of it. It's fair enough. 5 minutes of the first half to go, and it's Lopez then for Vicenza. Looking to send Morgita away, but he's well policed by Festa. Festa, who's settled in so well at the back for Inter since his return to the club after a loan spell with Roma. Now Roberto Carlos. Good tackle by Sartor. Regular viewers may remember Sartor from his debut as a 17-year-old for Juventus a few seasons back when he scored an own goal, his one and only appearance for the club. Good to see he's still going strong though after that setback. Inácio. It's an excellent ball through. Gita. Paganini, the defender.
There does look holes in that Inter defence. I mean, every time they come up and get into the Inter half and play around that box, all of a sudden you see defenders up everywhere except where they should be, and the general picking up and marking is poor.
It was certainly a shock to hear that Bergami wouldn't be starting the season as a first choice. He himself says, I don't know why. Bianchi hasn't explained anything to me. I'll just have to fight for my place. Del Vecchio. Well, he's seen plenty of the ball in the first half, Del Vecchio.
Peter, he works the flanks. I mean, he's like a kind of a free roaming front player. He'll move out to the right wing, he'll move out to the left wing, and he does love to attack defenders and get at them and try and get crosses in. But you can see that's his game. He has this freedom to go out to the flanks and work from there.
3 minutes of the first half to go. Roberto Carlos with the corner, met by Festa. Then Ince to head it back in again. And at last, Vicenza clear their lines. Paganini under pressure from Di Carlo, the 31-year-old. The 7th club for Vicenza. It's his first appearance, though, in Serie A.
And obviously the thing about Del Vecchio is whoever's picking him up, whoever is his marker, and more times not it's Bjorklund. I mean, all of a sudden, instead of playing down the middle, I mean, Bjorklund's a centre-back. He's not a right-back, he's not a left-back, but he's been taken out there by Del Vecchio.
Festa endeavouring to clear, but can't do so. Roberto Carlos. Luca, the world's most expensive goalkeeper, of course, £7.5 million he costs from Sampdoria. Neat touch then by Morgita, then on by Dinasio. He was clattered. Neat tackle by Ince.
And that's good as well. I mean, his timing was off there. I mean, he comes sliding in. It was flicked on. But he did the right thing because he picked himself up, and also he picked up the Vicenza player who would give the foul away on.
Dinasio. Lombardini with the cross. Dealt with by Festa. Vinny Del Vecchio upfield. The defender was almost caught out. Now by Festa to Zanetti. Inside the last minute now of the first 45. Ince. Delano. Now Paganini. Wide of him is Roberto Carlos. Del Vecchio in the middle with Gats. And just flicks off the head of defender Lopez. For a corner.
He moves about quite well, Delano. I mean, he'll go out to the left flank and let someone come out there and mark him, and then off he goes, and he leaves that big space for Carlos to break into. Because if that's the thing about Carlos, you've got to give him the room to come forward, because that's the strength of his game.
But now into stoppage time. Roberto Carlos with the corner. Another scramble in that 6-yard box. Vicenza survive though. Paganini, Delano. Delano to Ince, whose control was untidy.
And the crowd won't like that. They want that first touch to be exact.
Lombardini threatening Inter again. Dinasio. Now support arriving from Maini and Di Carlo. This is Dinasio on his weaker foot, quite obviously. And there is the half-time whistle, and there'll be a few whistles of derision, I would think, around the ground. The Inter fans not too happy with what they've seen so far. Plenty of effort from their team, plenty of endeavour, but not enough sharpness thus far anyway in front of goal. And Mondini in the Vicenza goal has had very little to do. A couple of scares for Pagliuca at the other end. But at half-time, it's Inter 0, Vicenza 0, and we'll be back after a short break.
Welcome back, everyone, to Football Italia. Here we are at the San Siro, where after 45 minutes of football, it is still 0 between Inter and Vicenza on this, the opening day of the 95-96 season. How are the rest of the teams getting on around Serie A? Let's take a look. Well, only 4 games have seen any goals scored. First of all, the Southern Derby down at Bari, between Bari and Napoli. Igor Protti putting the home team ahead there 1-0. Juventus 1-0 up, the champions, of course, against Cremonese. Jugovic, freshly arrived from Sampdoria and freshly on the score sheet. Signori, back to his old ways, puts Lazio 1-0 up at home to Piacenza. Whilst at Padova, Milan are 2-1 up. It was Milan, first of all, with Ware, the £5 million man from Paris Saint-Germain. Then Amorusa equalised for Padova. Now Baresi, in his 18th season, gets his first goal for 6 seasons. Puts them 2-1 up. Now, the other game that's left there is the Sampdoria-Roma match, which will be played tonight. That'll be in Mezzanotte on Tuesday night. Right now, though, time for a competition with the best of last season's goals.
Coming up, your chance to win a trip to a top Italian game. Just choose the goal you think was the best of last season and call us on 0891 11 44 11. Choose your favourite and phone in your selection on 0891 114411. Our winner will be selected at random from the correct entries. Lines close at midnight on Saturday, September the 9th. Our winner will be announced in the following week's live match. After the break, we'll find out if Paul Ince finishes a winner in his first game in Serie A as we bring you the second half of Inter versus Vicenza live.
Welcome back to Football Italia here with Paul Elliott at the San Siro Stadium, where it's currently Inter 0, Vicenza 0. Now, the first thing of all to talk about really is Paul Ince. He's been working well with Nicola Berti, looking confident.
Yes, and Delano. I mean, Paul has certainly shown that he's very technically accomplished player than what he's given credit for, because he's made some 1 or 2 good passes, short, long, and he's growing in confidence all the time. Similarly, Delano and Berti, they're very, very good players too.
Right. Worth talking about the fullbacks as well, Zanetti and Roberto Carlos.
Yeah, I mean, I've been impressed with them. Zanetti and Carlos, going forward, they provide the best opportunity for Inter. The final ball has been quite good, but unfortunately Del Vecchio's not been quite on the end of things, but he's worked very, very hard indeed. He's made it life very difficult for Bjorklund at the back.
Okay, most of the chances have been Inter's. The team's just coming out now, but a very brief word about Vicenza, who have had 1 or 2 opportunities.
Yes, they've played with a very carefree attitude. I've been impressed with them going forward. They're putting a lot of crosses into the box, and Inter's defence on many occasions have been absent from leave. So the more and more they're growing confidence, you know, they've got to play with a bit more vigour, a bit more end product in their final ball, and who knows?
Okay, right, well, Ottavio Bianchi making his way over to the bench, a man, as we say, under pressure, while we wait to see what happens in the second half. Let's rejoin our commentators, John Howe, and first of all, Peter Brackley.
Thank you, James. Yes, Vicenza have given a good account of themselves so far in thwarting Paul Ince and his Inter teammates. Generally regarded as having the weakest squad, really, in Serie A this season. Vicenza, having kept the bulk of last season's team, along with 1 or 2 additions, the 2 South Americans, of course. Now, what about Paul Ince then, Don? What have you made of his first half showing?
Okay. I mean, he hasn't got that fixed role. He's not anchor man. He has got that, as he did at Man United, a kind of a 2 in midfield. I mean, when he at Man United, he held. If the other midfield player went forward, then he held back, and vice versa. They played off each other all the time, and I think he's doing that with Berti. I mean, if Berti doesn't go, he gets forward and he can express himself, and the next time he holds, and lets Berti go forward.
Well, certainly Ottavio Bianchi will be expecting more from his team in the second half, as of course will the home fans. Here's Delano. It's ahead of him. Out wide is Roberto Carlos. Now Delano. Roberto Carlos has continued his run, whipping over that low cross. Easily dealt with, though, by Bjorklund. I think he let the pressure get to him then with a very hasty clearance. Roberto Carlos launching another of those missiles, a really long throw by the Brazilian. On by Berti. And he is again, an untidy collision. The referee, though, has let play go on. Pasquale Rodamonti.
I would say this for Vicenza, it's a good time to play Inter Milan before they get any set pattern, because at the moment there doesn't look a set pattern. I mean, they're all over the place. I mean, Delano sometimes is in the middle of the pitch, sometimes he's wide. They are kind of not into a pattern of play yet. They haven't got their strategy right. So for Vicenza, and also the pitch, I mean, we know what the pitch gets like. I mean, you play Inter or you play AC in a couple of months' time, and the wear and tear on this pitch, all of a sudden, it's in trouble. So it's perhaps a good time for Vicenza to come here.
Well, Lombardini is in trouble at the moment, in some distress there. Being helped off the field. Guido Lin, the coach of Vicenza, is the youngest in Serie A, 39 years old. He might have to make a switch here. Vicenza, who had such a good second half to the last campaign, when they eventually clinched promotion in 3rd place, behind Piacenza and Udinese, with Atalanta, the other team to be promoted. This Lombardini then, the former Cremonese player, now off the field to receive some attention. Strong burst by Delano. Now Berti. Looking to drive into forward again, but he's given it away. Ignacio. Head off by Morgita. But again, fine anticipation by Fresi. He seems to have settled in well. Roberto Carlos. Delano tugging the strings for Inter. It's biting into the tackle as ever. Delano. Berti's header has been misplaced. Almost released Otero. Fresi. It's been a nervous display by Inter in many ways. Certainly not fully into their stride by any means. No one will try harder than Berti to get things going for them.
I think that you can see Nicola Berti has been in this club now, Inter, basically since he was a young player. So he knows the situation inside out. But the nice thing about it, he seems to be getting that understanding with Paul Ince. A little bit like Paul Ince had it with Roy Keane at Manchester United. They knew when the other was getting forward, they knew when each other would hold back.
There's Morgita with the shot on the turn. He has looked sharp at times, Morgita. Playing up front alongside Uruguayan Otero. Morgita, who was the third top scorer in Serie B last season, with those 19 goals. You mentioned there the partnership between Berti and Ince, and they've clearly become friends off the field. Indeed, when the players had the option to choose their shirt numbers, Berti allowed Ince to have the number 8 shirt, which of course he wore last season. They actually used an auction to assign their new numbers, Inter, with all the proceeds going to Bosnia. Nobody wanted the 17 shirt. That's regarded as unlucky in Italy. 13 is lucky. What number would you have chosen, Don, if you had a choice? Number of hats you might wear in a season, perhaps 25 or 47 or something.
Well, I was a right back, and I had the number 2, and I got used to the number 2.
Fits it nicely.
It's not the number on your shirt, Peter.
This is a promising raid by Vicenza. Otero, though, unable to profit. That was a late lunge by the man from Uruguay. Marcelo Otero was actually preferred to Ruben Sosa in the Copa America. Remember, during that tournament. So he's no mean performer. And Vicenza had their eye on him before that competition got underway, and they beat Valencia to his signature. Del Vecchio. Cross not deep enough again. Morgita. Di Carlo. This is Otero. Zanetti to Massimo Paganini. And again, they've been so careless in possession, Inter. Still looking very jittery. Festa powerfully forward. Played into Gats, who's having his shirt tugged by Sator. A reprimand, but no more than that from the referee.
He'll have a go here. I'm absolutely certain with Carlos. I mean, it's on the right side of the pitch, so he can drag it, he can bend it if he wants to, or he can hit it with power.
It's Fontaine warming up on the touchline, so maybe he's about to come on. Bianchi also among the substitutes, going through his paces too. Now, a fast bowler's run in from Roberto Carlos, and he's hit it well! Brazil. Oh, very well. What a strike by the new man from Brazil, Roberto Carlos.
Well, I mean, everyone on the pitch could see what he's going to do. I mean, like you just said, it was like a fast bowler's runner. And so it's going to be a blaster, isn't it? I mean, and he's whacked it and he's got it inside. I don't know whether he got it around the wall or through the legs. From our angle, we couldn't see, but he's got it in the opposite side to where the goalkeeper was. That's for a fact.
7 minutes into the second half, Inter take the lead. Roberto Carlos in only his second game for the club. He only arrived earlier in the week. His first contribution in his opening game was to lay on a goal after only 75 seconds in the friendly against Monza. And he certainly struck with venom in this first game in Serie A. A man who stirred the emotions with his displays in the Umbro Cup for Brazil. Now he had the crowd on their feet in the San Siro. Maybe that will settle Inter down now. Aliuka.
The thing about that free kick, Peter, was that, I mean, he's hit it with pace. It's just bounced ahead of the keeper. Or it's in the opposite side to where the keeper should be, like it's in behind the wall. But I mean, that in itself would be difficult to kind of judge where to put your hands for the goalkeeper. Because when he bounces, he doesn't know how high it's going to bounce. So that in itself helps it on its way into the net.
Foul on Berti by Ignazio. That's what the crowd think of it all. Much more content now after Inter's struggle in the first half. Now they have the advantage through Roberto Carlos. Del Vecchio trying to force his way through, but without success. It was Paganini with the header. Roberto Carlos, Ince. Now Delano. Up wide to Zanetti. Look of him in the first half. Frezi. Festa to Ince. On by Paganini to Roberto Carlos. Gats ahead of him. Del Vecchio through the middle. Well-timed tackle though by Bjorklund. Necessary one too. Now Bianchi, and I think Fontelat too, maybe about to come on. A double substitution being made by Inter. Del Vecchio is certainly one of those going off. Del Vecchio, who works so hard up front, not too much reward. And Berti being replaced. So the captain is going off.
That's interesting. I wonder if he's got a knock, I wonder if he's got a strain, or whether that's just straightforward substitution.
Only the coach can tell us that. Certainly a surprise seeing Berti go off. He has been such a key man for Inter. Di Carlo. Here's Gats. Now it's Fontelat.
See, that's what they like about Paul Ince. He's here, there and everywhere, and he's getting himself involved in the play all the time, and he's given his all, you know. He's going for balls at times where you think, well, he's no right to go for that ball. And the crowd, whatever part you are, whether you're in England or whether you're in Scotland or whether you're in Italy, crowds do love that type of effort from a player. Sure, they like skill, sure, they like ability, but they do like to see a player having a go. I mean, he's in the engine room all the time, Paul Ince. I mean, every time the ball gets knocked out from the Vincenzo box. He's there. I mean, he's striking at him. He's getting across 2 or 3 of the Vincenzo players, and he'll hustle and work them. I mean, and while he does things like that, I mean, the crowd will take to him, no problem at all.
Gantz. This is Delano. Roberto Carlos setting off another of those charges of his. Fontelano is pretty quick as well. Roberto Carlos! It could have been 2. And I think he will feel it should have been 2.
Yeah, and the crowd will enjoy that as well. I mean, they're clapping him all the way back. You can see they're absolutely ecstatic, the crowd. Nice little link up with Fontelan. He's into the box. And it's in the centre of his feet. It's in the centre of his stance. So he's trying to get his left foot into the ball, and he drags it wide to the far post.
I'll tell you what, though, Don, it was a fantastic run. What pace he has, Roberto Carlos. As you say, the crowd really enjoyed that. Roberto Carlos certainly making an impact this afternoon on his Serie A debut. Delano. Now Roberto Carlos has lost out in the tackle to Mendes. Little altercation there, Frazee and Mendes. Mendes, who caught the attention of Vicenza during the Copa America when playing for Uruguay. They knew all about Otero, but not him. Frazee, who's looked very cool and composed at the back on his first appearance in Serie A for Inter. Good turn by Gantz. Inter playing with more confidence coming forward now. Paul Ince on for Delano. Roberto Carlos. Fontelan, who slotted in up front in place of Del Vecchio. Now Frazee. Yes, they're certainly more buoyant now, Inter. Zanetti.
Straight away, so as soon as someone gives the ball away, the crowd are like right on his back. Now, you've got to pass the ball well in Italian football.
Roberto Carlos trying to do that now. Fontelan, I think he's handled that. He says his chest. The referee, though, does not concur. Fontelan, who will certainly add some zest to Inter's attacking play.
Well, you can't catch the ball as he did there and get away with that.
But it was Devon Malcolm for a minute. Ignazio with the cross, made by Frazee. Well, Vicenza have got to come out and attack now if they're to salvage anything from this game. They haven't really extended Pagliuca. A couple of early scares. Delano now. Pursued by Di Carlo. He's certainly got the legs on him. Now there's Delano with the pass. Gantz. This is Bianchi, the Italian international, cross in towards Fontelan. Free kick to Vicenza.
Feet up, you're not allowed to do anything like that. Also, you can't show those studs.
Mendes taking a free kick quickly. This is Mendes again. Inter on the back foot now. Mendes. Here's Di Carlo. And the flick from Otero. Just beyond Mojita.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's worth them coming forward, Vincenzo, because I just don't think they're organised yet at the back, Inter. They really don't know who's doing it. And when you see challenges like that from a defender, where all of a sudden the ball's around the box and he's turning sideways on to try and make some semi-challenge. That's all it is. You know, that's not good defending.
Rolled on by Ince. Well, they know they're in for a hard season, Vicenza. Their coach, Guido Lin, saying he would feel very emotional about this game today. Everyone is saying we're going to go straight down, he said, but then they said that about Padova last season, and they just about survived. I settle for the same result. It's a tumble, but the referee saw nothing wrong with that, and it'll be a goal kick to Inter.
I suppose, Peter, in terms of that relegation and promotion in Italy, I'm afraid you do get virtually 3 out of the 4 that's come up will go back down. Perhaps even 4 of them as it is, and it's one of those things about quality and money and buying players.
Maini. Vicenza, remember, back in the top flight for the first time in 16 years. A header by Sartor. Now Delano. Ince. Zanetti. Ince again. Look at his determination. Maini has it for Vicenza. And it's stuck upfield in search of Otero, who had a thankless task.
The crowd are right with him, Peter. I mean, every time he touches the ball, I love some of the little things he's doing. And obviously, when he loses the ball, he gets after it straight away. And he keeps the crowd on his side. While he keeps doing things like that, he'll be a success out in Italy, no problem.
Delano. His target there was Fontelan. Support from Roberto Carlos, who of course has certainly won over the Inter fans. Fontelan. You know, the referee was right on the spot. I must say, at first glance, it looked like a trip. The referee was unimpressed. Here's Gantz. Couldn't quite wriggle through, but Fontelan! A squandered opportunity. Well, he was making such a fuss about his penalty appeal being turned down, he lost his concentration.
Exactly. Gantz got his toe to it and knocks it back out. I mean, he's got a score there. I mean, he's really dragged it wide of that far post.
Well, that was a dreadful miss by Fontelan.
But like you say, his concentration has gone because he's complained to the referee that it should be a penalty. And it was a kind of a tackle from behind. But referees don't give those decisions in the box.
Now Rossi is on. Meantime, we'll see this again now. Well, it was a stumble. It's always hard in slow motion to just see what happened.
Well, the defender's put his leg in and he's made contact with Fontelan. There's no doubt about that. And the referee's, 2 yards away from it. But I don't think the referee thinks there's any intent there. That's why he lets the thing go on.
So, a let off for Vicenza. Fontelan will certainly feel he should have scored. Penalty or no penalty. Fontelan's touch. Bianchi, player who's had to fight his way back from long-term injury, and will still hope to feature in Arrigo Sacchi's plans for the Italian team again. Bianchi. Inter's free kick.
Peter, when we see Delano on the ball, obviously he virtually is the playmaker for Inter Milan, and he doesn't give the ball away, and he can run with the ball if he has to. He's quite quick with the ball, in fact. But Bianchi, the coach for Inter Milan, he's got this problem now. They've got Carbone from Napoli, and he's got to look at these two players and saying, which is the one for me? Obviously, Delano at the moment has got the vote.
Bianchi's free kick. Yes, we were expecting Carbone to start. Rossi. No relation of the great Paolo Rossi. Not only did Paolo Rossi make his name with Vicenza, so did Roberto Baggio too. He started out with them. His career launched with his provincial club near Venice. Vicenza. Bianco Rossi, the red and whites. Sartor's free kick. It's back in his defensive role now. Rossi. Delano. Give it straight though to Di Carlo. Now he has it back again. Roberto Carlos in possession down this left side. Fontalan ahead of him. Bianchi. On then for Ince. Fontalan. Good sharp turn by him. This is Gats, but no, the flag is up. The flowing move then by Inter, denied by the linesman's flag.
Yeah, it was a nice ball by Paul Ince into Fontalan, and he finds Gans brilliantly, but he's offside. And really, there's no need for him to be offside because he's looking across that box. He's got the edge of the box as a guideline. I mean, he should be keeping himself on side. He's only got to look across those defenders.
Briaschi has now come on. He was the second top scorer in Serie B for Vicenza last season. 8 goals. Lost his place though with the arrival of Otero. Now he has come on for the Uruguayan. They haven't really threatened Pagliuca's goal though too often, Vicenza. And they won't do this time.
I'll tell you another thing, when we have a close-up on Paul Ince, I don't know if you noticed, he's got some great big holes in his socks. Obviously that's where he's been putting his foot in, and you know, the things you don't see from our position.
Bianchi trying to release Gats. Fontalan at the far post here. Good control. Delano. Ince hoping to profit, but again it's whacked away. Ignazio. Rossi. Well, the thought was there. 20 minutes to go. Ince now for Inter. One for Delano. Fontalan hoping to open up some space for him. Delano again. On for Ince. Wasn't the best of passes. There was a loose one by Delano. Ince won't thank him for that.
Another hole in his socks as well, Peter. I suppose Ray Wilkins would say he's worked his socks off today.
Away by Bianchi. Fontalan has to fetch it. I'm sure Ray's watching this afternoon. Well done, Ray, on your first win of the season yesterday for Queen's Park Rangers. Juventus now are 3-1 up, I'm hearing. 2 goals for Ravanelli, one of them a penalty. So the champions starting the new season as they ended the last one. Inter's free kick.
I think most of the Italian team did quite well yesterday. I think Joe Jordan won at Bristol. Peter, it's just Liam's got to get going now at Brighton.
It's my team, of course. We've got a point. We've got a point.
And that's right. Then we can all kind of.
Free kick taken by Fresi. Fontalan. Ignazio. Ince in the way. Fontelan to Bianchi. Now Gantz. Zanetti losing out in the tackle. Now the referee has brought play back. There's Mahini's tackle. He certainly caught Zanetti.
Yeah, he caught him down the back of the legs as it was.
Well, there's Bogamy. He certainly didn't expect to be starting the season on the bench. Ince hoping his team are going to start the season on a winning note. Now here's Roberto Carlos. So the warning signs are up again for Vicenza. They have a new idol. Not this time.
Well, I mean, at Inter, as you know, the last 2 or 3 seasons, they always had Sosa to do all this. Now they've got another one, and the crowd respond to this. And every time there's a free kick around the opponent's box, they know Carlos is coming up and taking it, as Sosa used to do. And it's a terrific one. I mean, obviously, if you get a goal, brilliant in itself, but the public do also tune into those things.
Here's Ince. Oh, a positive run here. Still Ince. The crowd willing him forward. Mahini. Di Carlo. Delano in pursuit. That's a shove by him, though. And a free kick to Vicenza.
I mean, he broke through there, Paul Ince, and he just overran the ball a little bit, but as soon as he lost the ball, he was after it. I mean, straight away, his reaction to losing the ball was to get after it and see if he can get it back as quick as he can.
Long pass from Lopez. Oh, Rossi from that poor clearance. Now, could he profit from it? Didn't get hold of the shot, though, Rossi. One of the substitutes brought on by Vicenza. Both the Uruguayans are off. And the referee wants the stretcher now. Festa, the player who's gone down. I don't think he wants to go off, though.
I'll tell you what, Peter, I'll put money that it'd be thumbs up for Paul Ince after this game, from the crowd, from the newspapers. I mean, considering this is his debut in a country that he knows all about, but obviously he can't speak the language yet. You can sense that the crowd are taking to him. The crowd are willing him on. He's kind of, without getting him into other, he's like Inter Milan's De Gea. You know, I mean, De Gea did so well when he came to AC Milan, and he's like Paul. He wants to get his foot in and he wants to win the ball, and he wants to knock it into front players and get support into those front players. I'm absolutely certain. I mean, the AC Milan crowd, which is in the same stadium, they really took to De Gea, and they'll do the same with Paul. Absolutely certain.
So I think he's more the type of player they need than, say, Wim Jonk, who wasn't really a success. It certainly wasn't as influential as you feel Paul could be. Sartor eventually getting himself out of trouble. But now the referee has given a free kick right on the edge of the box for the foul on Delano, who's fighting hard to keep Carbone out of the team. Delano, who was a big signing, a £4 million capture from Udinese a couple of seasons back. Never really established himself, though, in the Inter side. In fairness to him, he had a lot of injury problems in the last campaign. In a quiet afternoon for Pagliuca, but maybe Mondini at the other end will have something to do here. Delano hovering around the ball. A watch for Roberto Carlos. Festa back on the field. There's another fierce strike by the Brazilian.
And here again, you see in that situation, he's belted it into that crowd of defenders and forwards. It can ricochet anywhere. I mean, he can fly past the keeper. It might drop to one of his teammates.
Hunterland. The crowd are pleading for handball. In fairness, not the players. Roberto Carlos, whose goal still divides the two teams. We are now just 12 minutes remaining. Foul by Ince. Not his first of the game.
Yeah, and he just reacted a little bit to the referee, and the referee noted it, and he hasn't got to do that, Peter. There's something he's got to take out of his game. It's that reaction to having a decision that he doesn't like. You know, I mean, in a football match, he makes a lot of decisions, referees, and he'll make decisions that you don't like. Get on with it.
Wajita, who's toiled away up front without too much reward. They don't travel too well, Vicenza, certainly on last season's results. They had only 4 away wins despite gaining promotion. And you can see them having quite a battle in their away games. They'll hope to win enough at home to ensure survival. Not a full house today, but terrific atmosphere for this opening game of the new Serie A season. Inter, one of the title favourites, along with the likes of Milan, Juventus and Parma. Any thoughts on that, Don? Where would your money be this season?
Well, I'm like a lot of people. I mean, nothing original. I go for AC Milan. I just feel that the way they play and the way they get the best out of their players, you know, you can't deny them what they do on a football pitch. You know, it's work with the ball, it's work without the ball, and all the players work into the discipline of the side.
Bianchi, the offender. So you're going for Milan with Juventus and Parma presumably up there with them.
Yeah, here again, we in general we always have the same group. But there's been so many changes this year in personnel. I mean, even Juventus, who won the championship, and you'd have thought they'd have stuck with their players. All of a sudden, they've moved a few players on and signed some players.
Zanetti. We're now inside the last 10 minutes. Rodamonti going to quell this spot of bother here. Having words with Lopez and Di Carlo. What about Inter then as possible contenders, Don?
I don't know. I seen them play today. It's okay, and it looks as though they might get a result. But are they a team yet? Are they going to knit into a team?
Well, it's taken one moment of inspiration to, well, maybe win this game.
Have they got the quality players up front to get goals, Peter? And I don't know. I'd have to hold back on judgment on things like that.
Zanetti picking on Inácio. And the corner's being conceded. Inter would certainly feel a lot happier if they can get a second goal. Always the danger that Vicenza might just sneak one on the break. They love this fellow, Roberto Carlos. It's looking around the edge of the box. Festa is forward. Away by Di Carlo. This is Bianchi. Now Roberto Carlos. Right foot this time. Another corner.
I also feel as well at these comes, if they were to put a couple of big lads on this near post, because he can zip them into that near post. I mean, it would be virtually impossible for the keeper or the defenders to cope with it.
Here's his corner. Festa trying to reach it. Now Delano. Maini with the clearance. Brackley. Another crunching challenge from Paul Ince. Centre net. Brackley knew he was there. Gats. Roberto Carlos. Good save by the keeper. I tell you what, Don, he could be a revelation this season. Roberto Carlos.
What happened there was that he's never really got back from taking the corner on the right-hand side. So he finds himself in that kind of outside right, inside right position, and he's through. But really, he's on his wrong foot. So he's having to try to line himself up to get it up to his left foot. He's not comfortable there, is he? Like it's in behind him. But he's not used to being in that position in a free roll anyway.
He looks exhausted. I don't know how match fit he is. As I mentioned earlier on, he only came to Italy earlier this week, played in that friendly, and now his Serie A debut this afternoon. Well, have Inter done enough? Certainly would seem that Vicenza are a bit short on ideas, certainly in the second half. Not too much guile or imagination in their build-up. So Inter haven't really been stretched at any time. Now Bergomi will be coming on. Not too long to impress. Maini. Stresi. A very confident debut from him in the Inter shirt. Almost into the last 5 minutes. It's a foul on Maurizio Gats.
You see, that should be a yellow card. I mean, This is where we have a difference of opinion. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, like the forward's away, and he's going to go towards the Vicenza goal.
Well, Roberto Carlos coming off. And just listen to the acclaim of the crowd. Well, he can milk the applause now. They have a new hero in the San Siro.
I think that the anchor is listening to you, Peter. It does look a little bit shattered. Perhaps he's been through a hard season in Brazil.
So Bergomi, the old campaigner, is on. Seems to have been around so long, Bergomi. He's actually only 31. And he will certainly tighten things up at the back now. As Inter defend this slender lead. They will feel they should have won more convincingly, if indeed they do go on to take the points. Well, tucked in by Delano. Zanetti. Ince. Good distribution then to find Fontelan. Maganin, who's taken over that captain's armband from Berti. Even though Bergomi's on the field, and of course the substitution had taken place earlier on. Inacio pulled back. I don't think you could say it was a totally convincing display by Inter by any means, but, well, they will settle for a winning start. A lot of work still to be done.
Peter, the spirit looks good. There's no doubt about that. They all look as though they want to give it their best shot and put their work rate in, first of all, and that's always a beginning. That's somewhere to start. The next thing is getting that strategy right, getting that team shape, so that it gets the best out of each player. If you can get that right, then you're on your way.
Here's Ince arriving in the danger area. Well, they were very hard to beat last season. Inter, I think that's going to be the same again. It's really a question of, to score enough goals. Here's Gats, the man they bought to do that, and he almost obliged.
He ought to have scored. Lovely little touch by Paul Ince there. He just lifts it over the defenders. That's all he does, into the box. And Gans reads it well, and he's onto it. And here again, you see, it's a left-footed player who really wants to bring it across. I mean, he's done the defender, and all he's got to do is go onto his right foot and smack it.
So So Vincenza still in contention. Dinazio with the cross.
I mean, it is about it is a thing about the modern players. Modern players are not as two-footed as what they ought to be. You know, they ought to spend time scoring with both feet, passing with both feet, controlling with both feet.
A golden chance then, spurned by Maurizio Gantz, who chose the number 23 shirt, incidentally, after he was denied the number 9 shirt by the new fullback, Centofanti. So he opted for 23, which was the shirt that used to be worn by the basketball player Michael Jordan when he was with Chicago Bulls in the NBA. I think 1 or 2 other Italians have taken the number 23 for the same reason, including Simone of Milan. Dinazio, a couple of minutes to go, and this is Rossi! Oh, that was very close. Well, Inter have mainly controlled this game, but they almost had the win sneaked away from them.
Well, I mean, Paganini, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he didn't deal with the ball and just kick it out for a corner. I don't know whether he thought the keeper's coming in and he thinks Pagliuca was going to get there and get his hands on it. Like, that toe ender there, it's just enough to get the ball into the net. Luckily, it went past the post for Inter.
Showed really good awareness then. Young Rossi nipping in and very nearly embarrassing Inter right at the last. Dinazio. Maini's lay off. It goes Di Carlo. I think that's Delano down. Off goes Gantz. He's on his own until the arrival of Fontelan now. Here comes Bergomi. A roar of approval from the Inter fans. Bergomi again. Fontelan. Bergomi. Fontelan. Couldn't get away from Maini. But here's Ince. Almost into injury time now. There wasn't really any suggestion that Inter were hanging on, but oh, well, that was a scare for them when Rossi got through.
It's always nice to get that first win under your belt, Peter, as a team. I mean, everybody then settles down and the confidence starts flowing back and they start to feel good about themselves. You know, every team, whoever you are, needs that first win.
Caution for Festa. Maybe still trouble for Inter. Well into injury time now. Here was the foul by Festa on Morgita. That's away for a goal kick off Rossi. So Paul Ince can look back with some satisfaction on his league debut for Inter.
Yeah, and the next hurdle for him, obviously, and for Inter, will be the away game. You know, how's he going to play away from home when he hasn't got the crowd on his side, and the referee perhaps is a little bit like, you know, the away side here. Some referees that, you know, they deal with the away side more than the home side.
This is Zanetti, no way past. Maini. Vincenza still persevering, and that's out of play from Dinazio. I can't really see, I just looking at Vincenza, Don, I can't really see them making too much of an impression, could you?
No.
Not on what we've seen today.
They look as though they'll have a go. They look as though they'll, you know, their work rate and their challenging and their fighting's there. But they'll have the quality to break these teams down. Can't see it. And yet, I do like Otero. I think Otero is a good player. I was impressed with him in the Copa America.
Dinazio whipping over a dangerous cross. Comfortably claimed though by Pagliuca. And there, I think, is the final whistle to indicate a winning start for Paul Ince on his first league appearance for Inter. The goal, that cracking free kick from Roberto Carlos early in the second half, has proved enough. And no question really, Don, they were worthy winners overall.
Yeah, I mean, they virtually took over in the second half. I thought up to half-time it was fairly even, Stephen, and Vicenza were given as good as what Inter Milan was coming at them. But as the game went on and they started to pour forward, didn't they, Inter Milan? They get more players forward, and Carlos is coming all the time, and he's looking in danger. And they're breaking from midfield. They virtually got over, and I suppose, all right, once more, it's a set piece that decides the game. And I'm sure he's going to do it a few times this season, is Carlos. But that's not a bad start. It's a terrific start for Paul Ince. I'm absolutely certain he's won the Italian here in the Milan Stadium. He's definitely one of those supporters over. And I think he'll win a lot of people with his work rate, his ability on the ball. He's passed the ball well. If he's lost the ball, he's chased the ball. He's wanting to win the ball back, and that's a good start for him.
Well, no doubt about the star of the game. That was the Brazilian Roberto Carlos, signed for £4.5 million from Palmeiras, and it was his goal that decided this game. That's a wonderful free kick. What about the keeper's part in that, Don?
Yeah, well, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see it from either behind the goal, because I've got a feeling it either went close to the wall, but see, the wall should be protecting that side of the goal. You know, the goalkeeper should virtually be able to say to himself, well, there's no way the ball's going to get in that side.
Now here's Roberto Carlos again. He could have had a second.
You know, I don't know whether he tried to hit that with the outside of his left foot to bend it inside the post. I think that one was supposed to come back a little bit. It was a little bit too hard, a bit too strong.
Well, there weren't all that many chances for Inter. This was the one missed by Fontelan after he just had a penalty appeal rejected. He'll be very disappointed by that.
Oh, Peter, he should have stuck that away. I mean, it's a top class, but at least he's got to hit the target at least.
And then this was Horacio Gats, just poking that one over the bar. So it could have been a bigger win for Inter, but as it was, just the one goal. And they so nearly considered an equaliser. Rossi, who nips in here. You weren't too happy about the defending, Don?
No, I think he could have poked it away for the corner quite easily. Like I said, I don't know whether he thought Paliuca was going to come out and drop onto it, but like you say, I mean, the other side, the post, it's one each.
Well, Inter escaped then. They won the match by 1-0, thanks to that strike by Roberto Carlos. We'll be back with more news of other games in a moment. And for now, I'll hand you back to James Richardson with Paul Elliott.
Thank you, Peter. Well, before the game, Paul Ince said he wasn't nervous, and he certainly looked pretty comfortable out there. A bit tired at the end, but overall a very positive debut.
I thought Ince done very well. He worked hard, closed opponents down. His distribution was sound. He led by example. And I think, you know, he made a very sound contribution to a positive 1-0 victory for Inter.
Right, otherwise, obviously, we talked about Roberto Carlos. Zanetti looked good as well. Delano, though, after 2 difficult years at Inter, finally beginning to show some sign of progress.
Yes, he's very graceful, very articulate on the ball. He changed the play well, always comfortable going forward. And for me, you know, he's certainly a player that's going to make a big impact this season.
Right, surprising, though, after all the plaudits that have been awarded to Inter's defence, to see them struggling at points.
Yes, I mean, they've been very sound, particularly last year, James, but they didn't defend crosses well. I think if Vicenza had a lot more belief, a lot more ambition, a bit more imagination going forward, they could have upset that defence. But, you know, it's their first game. They've got a lot to work on. It's a new side. They'll go on forward.
OK, well, we'll talk more to you in a second, Paul. Right now, though, time to go back to our competition. Chance to win a trip for 2 to Italy if you can pick the best of last season's top goals.
Coming up, your chance to win a trip to a top Italian game. Just choose the goal you think was the best of last season and call us on 0891 11 44 11. Choose your favourite and phone in your selection on 0891 114411. Our winner will be selected at random from the correct entries. Lines close at midnight on Saturday, September the 9th. Our winner will be announced in the following week's live match.
Welcome back, and best of luck really with that competition. Meanwhile, while the rest of the Inter fans disappear happy behind me, it's time to find out how the rest of the Serie A teams got on. The rest of today's final scores with Peter.
So running through the scores then, Atalanta 1, Parma 1. Stoichkov has scored on 76 minutes. A late goal though from Vieri, giving Atalanta their equaliser. Bari 1, Napoli 1. Totti for Bari, Cruz with the penalty, a late equaliser for Napoli. Fiorentina have beaten Torino by 2-0. Brackley with both the goals there, a 22-year-old on loan at Udinese last season. Inter 1, Vicenza 0, confirmation Roberto Carlos with the winner there. Juventus 4, Cremonese 1, Jugovic, Ravanelli with 2, and Deschamps for Juventus. Lazio 4, Piacenza 1, Signori Esposito with 2, and Casiraghi. Padova have been beaten 2-1 at home by Milan, and Baresi, his last Serie A goal was 6 seasons ago, and Udinese 1, Cagliari 0. Bierhoff, their new signing from Ascoli, got the winning goal there. That's it for the scores. James, it's all yours.
Thanks, Peter. So a positive start, as we say, for Inter. However, the doubt still remains about them as an attacking force, and I think most people will still be agreeing, despite that 1-0, that they do need a big centre-forward up front, and of course talk really revolves around Cantona.
Well, there's no doubt they do need a prolific scorer, James, but at the end of the day, you know, is it Cantona? Well, he's committed himself to a contract at Manchester United, so I'm sure they'll have to look elsewhere.
Well, of course, contracts aren't that unbreakable in football.
Yes, but I think in this case, you know, Cantona's made it clear, and Alex Ferguson, that his future's with Manchester United. But, you know, the way Roberto Carlos is going, he can play centre-forward.
Okay, well, we shall see. We'll see what Inter gets up to as the season progresses. Right now, though, it's time to leave you from the San Siro. Remember, we'll be back on Tuesday night with highlights of tonight's match between Sampdoria and Roma. Looks like being an interesting battle, that one. And on next Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, Gazzetta will return with the best of all of this Sunday's goals, I should say. Some news, reviews, interviews, that sort of thing. And, of course, no game on next Sunday because of the Italian international team's game with Slovenia next Wednesday night. Right now, though, we'll leave you from the San Siro. Roberto Carlos' winning goal for Inter against Vicenza.